Okidoki. I've really got into girl band anime recently, with Bocce the Rock and girls band Cry. So when I heard about this new one called Ave Mujica, of course I would be interested. Another wholesome story about cute girls coming together to make music. I just can't wait to watch this very normal girl band anime. So if you've seen Bang Dream MyGO, if you haven't, then oh boy, good luck keeping up, then you'll be familiar with Sakiko Togawa, one of the old members of CRYCHIC that has now started this new band, Ave Mujica. However, at the end of that season, we still weren't quite sure why Saki initially left CRYCHIC in the first place. Which, luckily for us, Ave Mujica explains in the very first episode. Basically, she went through a identity crisis. In fact, every member of Ave Mujica goes through some sort of identity crisis, and oh boy does it deal with some insane stuff. See, Saki is part of the Togawa family, a very rich and powerful group. To be more specific, her father, Kyotsugu, married into the family, which is important because Mizuho, her mum, dies. I'll give you a moment to feel sad about her. Okay, moving on. The reason this is important is because Saki's father doesn't have any Togawa blood in him, unlike Saki and her mother, which is bad because without Mizuho, Kyotsugu is kind of disposable right now. You've already given us an heir, you're basically a used condom at this point, which is later proved to be true when he is forced to take responsibility for a fraud case that cost the group $16.8 billion, resulting in him being disowned and kicked out. This is where Saki's identity begins to splinter, as she now has to choose between being a Togawa and staying with her grandfather, or abandoning that title to join her father. Saki, not realizing the incoming daddy issues that she's about to be hit with, chooses to go with her father, throwing away her rich lifestyle for a rundown house and constant part-time jobs, which obviously leads to a lot of stress for a teenager. Not to mention that Kyotsugu, living up to my previous condom analogy, is basically useless at this point, turning into a drunk and a deadbeat that has to be bailed out of prison every second Tuesday. All of this bubbling up to the point that she just has way too many personal issues to juggle, which, coupled alongside being in a band, leads to what happened to her and CRYCHIC. Again, leaving behind her identity as a member of CRYCHIC so that she can support her father. Truly, child of the year. I'm sure her father is very appreciative.
もうほっといてくれ。お前みたいな立派な娘がいると俺は情けない。頼むからいなくなってくれ。
Wow. Someone take away this guy's world's greatest father mug. The crux of Saki's identity crisis is running away from her past selves. Her past as the heir to the Togawa family, her past as her father's daughter, her past with CRYCHIC, and even her past with Ave Mujica when they also disbanded during the middle of the show, which is why Saki uses the stage name Oblivionis, because to run away from your past self is to forget who you are. Which, unfortunately for Saki, doesn't work out too well for her, because you just can't run away from your past, can ya? Saki's grandfather comes back into her life to try and bring her back into the family, while Tomori and the other members of CRYCHIC try to confront Saki about what happened to her. If you do not fear forgetting, you must confront your past in order to move forward. And she's not the only one that has to confront herself. For example, meet our friend Mutsumi Wakaba was also a member of CRYCHIC, and honestly the most obvious case for the identity crisis that every character goes through, simply because of her, well, personality. See, Mutsumi is the daughter of a famous actress and a famous comedian, basically supercharged with nepotism. However, Mutsumi actually hates the attention that her pedigree draws in, lacking confidence in herself and believing that everything good about her belongs not to her but to her parents. The only thing that she can truly call hers is her guitar, something that she can dedicate herself to that is not related to mummy or daddy dearest. However, this doesn't really fix her self-esteem, blaming herself for the breakup of CRYCHIC because she believes she's not good enough to play guitar, along with many other pangs of doubt and anguish. All of this not being helped by Saki, which, under the stress of trying to make Ave Mujica work, as it's the only thing left in her life that she has control over, berates Mutsumi for her indecisiveness, which causes Mutsumi to literally mind break, split her personality in two, and lock herself away as her safeguard takes her place. Mortis. Ave Mujica was so detrimental to Mutsumi's mental health that she developed dissociative identity disorder. Or at least, that's what we're led to believe. This poor girl has been under so much stress that it caused her identity to fracture. But that's way too tame for Ave Mujica. Ave Mujica did not create Mortis. Mortis has existed from the very beginning. We find out from her mother, who also does not deserve a world's greatest mother mug,
あの子と四六時中一緒にいると惨めになるのよ。
that the person we know as Mutsumi has always had multiple personalities ever since she was little, Mutsumi being the one that fits in a happy family, and what we now call Mortis being the sociable one that inherited her mother's acting ability. In fact, it wasn't just Mutsumi and Mortis, there had once been many personalities within this little girl. The only reason that there's two left is because of Mutsumi's love for a guitar, allowing her to take control as the main personality, causing all the others to slowly disappear. Which, I must say, is an insane thing to describe for a character in a girl band anime, but also leads to why she is called Mortis, because what is disappearing if not death?
やだやだ消えたくない絶対に消えないもん
Mortis's role was to protect Mutsumi, which also meant protecting Ave Mujica and Saki, but due to them disbanding because of constant infighting, Mutsumi and Mortis are now fighting for control, not wanting to disappear like all the rest. Her identity crisis is literally her fighting against herself, in fear that losing will mean eternal slumber, that one shall be consumed by the other. And they're not the only ones afraid of being consumed, because in Nyamu Yuutenji only has one goal, and that is to become a multi-talented artist, having started as a YouTuber, oh my god, she's just like me, for real, and now using Ave Mujica to increase her brand value.
そのためなら何だってやるし、チャンスがあれば食らいつく。なければこじ開けて飛び込む。
That is her identity, an opportunist that wishes to rise to the spotlight, at least until she meets Mutsumi. See, when Mutsumi froze and collapsed on stage, everyone kinda saw it as her putting on an act, becoming a doll whose strings had just been cut, because the premise of the band is that all the members are living dolls. Nyamu, being one of those people, is faced with the fact that if she wishes to make it as an actor, she would have to confront the insurmountable wall that is her own bandmate. And it kills her. Unable to get that performance out of her mind, her motivation gets completely shot, causing her to turn down auditions, put her YouTube channel on hiatus, and even when she tries to act, she just ends up freezing up in fear. She has lost her identity as an artist, unable to move forward because of her fear and jealousy towards Mutsumi. But hate is just one side of the coin. That is why she is amorous.
見たいわけじゃない。目が離せないだけ。あんたの演技見てると、私って何ってなる。ずるいよ。ずるくて、羨ましくて、愛してる。
I guess in a dog-eat-dog world, Nyamu chose to eat her out. It is this love that Nyamu fears, her very existence being consumed by the void that is Mutsumi Wakaba, wanting to look away from the sun but unable to rip your gaze away as you slowly go blind. But in order to become that multi-talented artist, she can't pretend that her love does not exist. She must confront and trample her idea of Mutsumi so that she can truly move forward. She must face that love in order to improve, to regain the opportunist that she once was. And she's not the only one that has to face something she loves. Come on in. Umiri Yahata at first seems like someone that doesn't care. While being an Ave Mujica, she is also a member of Disruption, another famous band, alongside being a support member for many others as well. Ave Mujica seems like it was just another job for her. At least, that's what it seems. See, when Umiri was starting out, she was only in one band, one that was actually doing pretty well for themselves, so well that they were really close to debuting. However, on the day of the audition, her entire band ding dong ditched her. They all left, disliking how much Umiri was micromanaging everything. This led to Umiri being afraid of believing in others, which led her to joining multiple bands, having as many backups as she needed in case one fell through, never getting close to anyone again so that she would never have to experience betrayal again. Basically, her identity as a band member was splintered like a horcrux, scattered across multiple jobs to protect herself. That is why she is timorous, doing everything she can to not face that same fear again.
連絡もなしにこういうのやめてほしいんですよ。トラウマなんですよ。一体私の何が悪かったんですか。ここに来てまだ信用してくれないんですか。
It's only once Ave Mujica disbands that Umiri realizes that she had actually grown fond of them, even with all the problems it had. She learns to stop closing herself off to allow us to see her true identity, to see that she's actually super clingy and acts like a toxic girlfriend.
浮気ですか。出るとこ出ますが。なんなの?
She's actually hilarious after her switch, like when Nyamu sends Uika's secret lyrics to try and reform the band, and Umiri instantly replies with, "I am in tears" sticker. I'm not even sure she had enough time to read it all, she's just that desperate to get them back together again. To move forward is to be able to face your fears. And she's not the only one that's desperate for attention, such as our lucky Uika, Misumi. Honestly, out of everyone in the band, Uika seems like the most well-adjusted. She's super nice and supportive, always complimenting Saki, even letting her stay at her house when she was temporarily homeless. She just seems so sweet that people have even started to ship her with Saki. And wouldn't it be funny if something happened that just completely ruined that ship? Oh boy. So there's no easy way to put this, so we might as well just say it. Uika is Saki's aunt. Uika is related to Saki. Uika x Saki shippers are in absolute shambles. Also, Uika isn't even her real name. It's actually Hatsune. Wait a minute. Hatsune Miku! So remember Saki's grandfather? Well, he got a maid knocked up back in the day, and since he also married into the Togawa family, the maid left for the country to not make trouble, which led to Uika having this weird sense of not belonging, simultaneously not being part of the Togawa family, while also not quite fitting in with her new stepdad and half-sister. Stuff happens, and the half-sister, who was actually Uika, becomes friends with Saki. The Uika that we know was unable to play with them because she was banned from interacting with anyone from the Togawa family. However, during one of the playdates, Uika, the little sister, gets sick, so Uika, who is Hatsune, keep up everyone, goes to play with Saki in her place, and ends up becoming really attached. Like, really attached. Like, completely obsessed to an unhealthy degree. This is why she's Dolores. Unable to feel like she truly belongs, trapped in her own sorrow, she latches onto the one person that truly made her feel happy.
生まれてずっと私はかわいそうな子だった。かわいそうなだけだった私を人間にしてくれた。大好き。優しいサキちゃん。私だけのサキちゃん。サキちゃん、サキちゃん、サキちゃん、サキちゃん、サキちゃん、サキちゃん。
So, in order to stay with Saki, in order to escape her sorrow, she ran away from home, took her little sister's identity and name, even stole her sister's dream of becoming an idol, all in the hopes that she can be with Saki again, even if she has to pretend to be someone else. As long as she can be with Saki, she can finally feel happy. Which unfortunately ends up leading to Saki's father finding out about Uika, bringing her up to the Togawa family, and causing Saki's father to be disowned and kicked out. Uika is the entire reason for Saki's suffering. Or at least that's what she believes, because we are hearing this entire batshit insane story from her perspective. We've already discovered that she's been living under a false identity all this time. For all we know, she could be an unreliable narrator as well. But when she is discovered, she too runs away, not wanting to face Saki after lying all this time. But you can't hide forever. You can't bottle up your sorrow if you wish to be truly happy. You need to let it out, to tell someone how you truly feel. You have to face that sorrow eventually. And I guess that is Ave Mujica. A bunch of girls afraid of coming to terms with themselves, with their own identity, using music as a form of escapism from the pain that they all have to deal with. It's messy, it's ridiculous, it's downright insane. But it's some of the most fun I've had with an anime this year, partly because of how toxic it is, and partly because it kind of resonates with me. These characters using art as a distraction from whatever is bothering them, whatever is wrong with their head. This video is yet another way to distract me from facing myself. Ave Mujica doesn't truly escape from their fears, but what they do manage to do is acknowledge them and move forward even though we're all kind of fucked up inside. And like, damn, that just really hits close to my heart.